Yeah. What did we just see? Hello. Obviously, I'm Sheldon from Live Laugh Lewis. This is our big comfy couch of thoughts, and I'm alone today, which is fine because I'm recording this pretty late, and pretty late being because we just watched the series finale Eve episode of Game of Thrones. This is the second to last episode of Game of Thrones we just finished watching, and if you haven't seen this episode yet, please, I encourage you to go watch it. Stop this video now, go find somewhere to watch it and watch, and then come back to this exact spot, because what we're about to talk about is that episode, and in fact of what just happened. What did we just watch? I'm gonna start by saying this. Taylor has watched Game of Thrones a lot longer than me. She has been into it from
2011?
She's in the distance. 2011. I was not into Game of Thrones when it first started. I was very much adamant about not watching it. I was like, she tried to get me to watch it a lot. And I was like, no. I don't really care to watch it. I've seen a couple of episodes. I've seen the first episode, blah, blah, blah. It's just not really my thing, So I gave in and finally started watching the show with her. And I'm happy. You know, I'm glad I started watching the show because it took me a minute. I got into it around the third season, and I apologize if you've heard us talk about this story on our previous videos, but it took me a while. It took me about third season, and I really got into it, and yeah, I've been hooked ever since. So building up to this final season, I mean, I'm not alone. Everyone has been in anticipation of this final season, and the season, in my opinion, has progressed okay. There's been some backlash over a couple of things, but to jump into this topic, with this being the second to last episode ever, things that have been built up over, I can't even, how long, 2011, so 8 years. Things that have been built up on this show for 8 years. This being the second to last episode of the show ever. And we get what we got. It's so insulting, because this episode was just I can't say it was the worst, but it is pretty bad. And I'm not saying that the episode was just terrible, like, as far as, it was still a cool episode as far as what Game of Thrones is, but for what we have seen, for what we have gotten, for what we have been anticipating since the beginning, it's a pretty bad show. It's a pretty bad episode. Characters have been changed over the past 3 weeks. 3 weeks. They have managed to change so many characters. It's amazing, because this show is so popular. They've had time to build and mold these characters into whatever they want them to be. And in a matter of 3 weeks, they have turned so many characters into just like, what the F was that? Who is this? Why is he doing this? Just so many head-scratching moments in this episode that's supposed to be the setup for the big finale. You know, this is the setup. This is supposed to get us to the promised land. But no. That's not what we got. What we got was a bunch of BS that doesn't really make much sense. Some of the things are justified, and like I said in the beginning, this will contain spoilers. If you haven't seen it, please stop and go and watch it. I am a person who believes that Daenerys' character is justified in everything that she's doing. I'll start with Daenerys. I believe she's justified in everything that she's doing. She has all of the reason to be upset. She's not going mad. She's not turning into the Mad King. She's not going to be a Mad Queen, I don't think. She's angry. She's pissed off, which makes sense. She lost 2 children. Her best friend just died. Every time you turn around, somebody is betraying her, or, you know, going behind her back, doing something that she wishes that they wouldn't have done. she's justified in her being furious. And Missandei dying in the last episode, Cersei having her best friend pretty much killed in the last episode, was a straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's justified. I get it. I get why she's upset. I'm not upset at all at what Daenerys is doing because I understand completely. Now, do I necessarily agree with Daenerys killing thousands of people? No. I don't believe that that is justifiable. That's a character change. That's one of the frustrations that is killing Game of Thrones fans, if you will. But what I'm saying is, if that's what they're gonna do to her character, if that's the character change that she's gonna have, then okay. If she's gonna go full on mad, which I don't think she's mad, I think she's just pissed off, like I said, then that's understandable to me. Just me personally. It's wrong, yeah. You don't want to see someone that the character that you've loved portrayed this way. Me personally, I can understand it. Do I necessarily agree with it 100%? No. And this is just the part about her burning the city. I understand why she's doing what she's doing. That's the only part about Daenerys' character and that episode about Daenerys that I didn't necessarily agree with. It didn't upset me. I believe it's going to upset a lot of other people, but it didn't necessarily upset me because she's pissed off. She's just watched, you know, her best friend was just killed. Every time you turn around, somebody's betraying her. Like, what would you do in her shoes? That's the way that I have to look at it. There's a good enough reasoning behind it. People may not like it. I understand there's going to be a lot of people that don't like it because it just conflicts with who she is and everything. And that does make sense, and I agree to a certain extent. But to me, it's not for no reason of her pretty much burning the city to the ground. In the outcome of that, there's a lot of other things that are underliers, like, who is she going to rule over? There was a part that said she doesn't want to be Queen of the Ashes. Well, now she kind of is. Who is she going to rule over? The people that, you know, are still alive. She's now going to be a queen ruled by fear, which is exactly what Cersei was. Which is another conflict of character of Daenerys that a lot of other people, you know, are not going to agree with. But that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing if, and you know, I'm jumping ahead, if they're going to kill her. As of right now, she is Queen of the Ashes. She is ruling by fear. But if you're going to kill her off anyway and put somebody else on the throne, then it doesn't matter. I feel like that's the direction that they're going to go with. That's the only explanation for why they chose to make Daenerys, quote unquote, mad. But what gets me is the fact that the person that has caused all of this, the person that has caused Daenerys' rage, being Cersei, and the cause of pretty much everything, every bad thing that has happened in this show, for the most part, the one person that is the cause of all of this stuff, who I'm probably not alone in saying that everybody who watches this show has wanted her to die by someone's hand, or want to see her die probably more than Joffrey. We don't get that. How can you build up this show so much and neglect the audience of that one thing, the one thing that people have been wanting to see so much, and that's Cersei's death? We did get that, or so we think. I'm not sure, because it was really hard to tell. We did get it, but it was nowhere near what we wanted it to be. This may sound bad, but I wanted it to be bad. I wanted her throat slit. I wanted it close to what Littlefinger experienced. Something like Joffrey, Ramsay, something like that. I wanted her to get her comeuppance for everything that she's done. I don't think that her comeuppance is dying very quickly in the embrace of the only person that she ever loved in the world. That seems cheap to me. It all just seemed cheap to me. In the beginning of the episode, Varys is the person, you know, who is going behind. If you've been following this season, he's the person who is, he does everything for the good of the people. He does everything for the good of the realm. I understand that. That's good. That's sweet. But he is an advisor to the queen. He's an advisor to Daenerys. He knows a secret now about Daenerys' loved one, and he's trying to plot against her. So Varys dying, I understand that. I'm not mad at Varys dying. I understand his reasoning behind it, but okay, he's plotting against the queen. He's doing something behind her back. Tyrion told him not to do it, to leave it alone. He didn't. He died for it. Okay, his death, completely fine with it. Everything else after that just seemed to be, and I'm gonna keep saying it, just seems kind of seemed cheap. You wanted Euron Greyjoy, another one who's just the pants. You want to see him gutted. You want to see his throat slit. Something. You don't want to see him and Jaime fighting on the shore over Cersei. That's not what you want to see. You want to see Yara or somebody come back, kill him, get his comeuppance. No, you see him and Jaime fighting on the shore pretty much for Cersei. And it doesn't even seem like, they don't even make it about Cersei. When Euron baits Jaime into combat, do you want to kill another king? And then he says, oh, me and the queen, haha, yeah, we. And that's what starts the fight. So they're fighting over the shore over Cersei. That's not how you want to see Euron die. You want to see him get roasted. He killed one of the dragons. He killed one of Daenerys' children. So you want to see him burn. Or you want to see him get his comeuppance by being killed by his niece, Yara, for everything that he did to her. Theon's already dead, so we can't get that. So that's the next best choice. And if we can't get Yara, then okay, you get Daenerys. She burns him. He killed her child, her dragon, in the last episode. That's what you want. You don't want to see him die at the hands of Jaime. And the thing that frustrates me about this whole thing is yeah, it's understood that they're essentially fighting over Cersei. But Euron, to his knowledge, believes that Cersei is carrying his baby. Jaime knows that it's his baby. It's Jaime's baby. That never comes up in the fight. Euron doesn't boast to him like, yeah, there's a part in the fight where Euron gets the better of Jaime, stabs him, like, yeah, I got you. That's all he says. Oh, I got you. I killed Jaime Lannister. He doesn't say, and now my heir is gonna rule the kingdom, or now my heir is gonna be born, my child is gonna be born of the last queen, something. He doesn't let that be known to Jaime. Jaime just kills him. Jaime doesn't let it be known to Euron that, oh, you thought that was your baby? No, that's my baby. They're fighting over Cersei. Euron thinks it's his baby. Jaime knows it's his baby. That doesn't come up in the fight. Jaime just kills Euron. And to our knowledge, you know, Jaime is pretty badly injured from Euron's fight, and Euron knows that Jaime is eventually going to die, and he's okay with dying knowing that he killed the Kingslayer. I'm the person that killed Jaime Lannister. No. Nothing about Cersei other than Euron baiting Jaime into the fight. Nothing about the baby. Why are these two guys fighting? What for? Like, that's not what we want to see in the episode before the series finale. That's not what we want to see. We don't want to see Euron and Jaime fighting for no reason. It's understood they're fighting about Cersei, but it's never addressed. We don't want to see that in this. The Hound versus the Mountain. That's something that I've been waiting for. It was good. That's the only thing, to me, honestly, that was the only part of the show that really made sense. The Hound versus the Mountain, something I've been waiting to see. Again, I've been waiting to see that. I want to see the rematch, and it looked like the Mountain was getting the better of the Hound. Thought you were going to see the Hound, you know, just die, but he died so he could kill his brother. That was his mission. That's all he's been wanting to do, is he's wanting to kill his brother. He got his comeuppance over his brother. The fight was the Mountain, he just couldn't kill him. Stabbed him through the gut, stabbed him here, here, here. Nothing was working because obviously the Mountain's a walking zombie. But that does not stop the fact that he killed him. Finally, you know, got his distance, and as the city's burning, him and his brother fighting toe to toe. Mountain, or the Hound rather, tackles him through a burning wall, and both of them plummet to their death. That's how the Hound wanted to go out. He wanted to kill his brother. That was his mission. If he had to die doing it, then he died doing it. Great. I love it. Next thing, what about Arya? Arya Stark, who came to King's Landing with the Hound to kill Cersei. The Hound kind of gave her a little bit of a pep talk, you know, to give her something to live for. He knew he was going to die. He didn't want Arya to die, and that was all Arya needed to try to get out of the city. This little girl that we just watched kill the Night King, who just fought through death, essentially, the White Walkers and the Army of the Dead, all of that, slicing and dicing everything to eventually kill the Night King. All it took was the Hound to tell her, hey, you don't be like me. Do you want to be like me? Get out of here. Go on, kid. And then she turns around and runs. She came to the city to kill Cersei. Why did it take a pep talk from the Hound to derail her from her mission? She's on her list. Another cheap moment. Again, we never get justification on a lot of things. And I hope that the next episode really, like, brings this home, because there's a lot that there's a lot that I can go into, and I wish Taylor was kind of here with me so we can kind of talk and get her opinion. So I just feel like I'm rambling, but it just feels cheap. Like, this is not what you want to see. The second to last episode of a show that has essentially become a phenomenon in, you know, modern culture. This is Game of Thrones. It's been on for years. Everyone's hooked. Probably, you know, as far as like fandom and things, next to Harry Potter, next to Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, I don't know, but it's a big deal. And the show's coming to an end, and this is being the second to last episode before the show ends completely. This is not what you want to see. You want to see build. You want to see, okay, this is what we've been waiting on. We're gonna see, you know, the crown. We're gonna see the fight for the throne, the big fight for the throne, and then the next episode is supposed to submit it. Who's gonna rule? That's not what we got. We got a bunch of cheap, rushed storylines, a lot of things that don't make sense, characters portraying themselves in ways that we have never seen, being changed over the course of 3 weeks. In addition, you have plots that we as fans have anticipated happening, even if it wasn't in the original writings. Things that we have anticipated happening that we did not receive, that you felt like you should have. Cersei's death being probably the biggest one. That is probably the number one thing that annoyed me throughout the entire episode. I personally wanted Arya to kill Cersei because I want Arya to get all the big deaths. Arya's my girl. But even if Jaime were to kill Cersei, Euron confessed that he slept with Cersei, Cersei's pregnant with your child, you admitted that she's evil or she's hateful. All of these things, she's done all of these terrible things. Jaime killing Cersei, Daenerys flying through the keep, burning her alive, something. You don't want to see somebody who that terrible of a character die that way. It would be like Joffrey, you know, the city going, you know, something happening and the city is under turmoil, everyone's running, Joffrey trips on something and hits his head on a rock and dies. What? You feel cheated. Like, you want to see her get hers. Somebody has to give her hers. And we didn't get it. And because we didn't get it, I really hope that they are alive. Because we see the things fall, but we don't necessarily see their bodies. So, you know, that could very much mean that they're alive. You know, just trapped under some rubble or something. But if they are, I sincerely hope we get that comeuppance. We get the joy. And this sounds bad, man. It's a show, but we get the joy of seeing somebody kill Cersei because she deserves it. Even if they go to the north and get Sansa, somebody has to kill Cersei. That cannot be the way that a boss character like Cersei goes out. Somebody has to do it. I want it to be Arya, if it's Daenerys, if it's Jaime, if it's somebody. Somebody has to do it. And the fact that we did not get that this episode is seriously what made this episode very, very bad. This is Game of Thrones that we're talking about. And if you've seen any, I'm sure you guys have your opinions on it. So many negative reviews over the final season of Game of Thrones. The final season of Game of Thrones. There should be no negative talk whatsoever. It should be, oh my gosh, this episode, this, wow, I can't believe this happened. This is the final season of a show that has been epic. And they're essentially flushing it down the toilet. I know this is all my opinion. It's not fact. This is just how I feel. If you disagree with me, please let me know. Put it in the comments. Say you like the episode. Say some of the things. There were good things about the episode. I know it seems like I'm bagging on this episode really, really bad, and I'm not, because there were a lot of good things about the episode. I mentioned I feel like Daenerys is completely justified in what she's doing. I like how Jon is coming around. I feel like Jon's saying, hey, you know, I didn't want the throne, but he's seeing a part of Daenerys that he doesn't really like. So he kind of feels like, man, this isn't right. I enjoy that. I mean, it's not what I would have done, or it's not my favorite part about it, because their relationship's a little weird right now, but hey, I get it. Grey Worm, another one. Him, completely justified in everything that he was doing. Of course, he's just following Daenerys, but he just saw the love of his life get killed by these people. Of course, he wants to kill these people. They killed Missandei. That's all he knows. That's pretty much it. For the second to last episode of the final season of Game of Thrones, those are the only hot points for me personally. And I know I'm missing some things, but wow. It's amazing how they've taken this show and just completely flipped it for the negative. Again, just my opinion. I'm not trying to force my opinions on anybody else, but again, like I said, let me know how you guys feel about the episode. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go watch it. Go back and watch it and let me know. Like, hey, did you get the same vibes? Did you get the same thing? Let me know. I really want to hear. But yeah, let me know. I want to hear your thoughts on the second to last episode, season 5, episode 6, sorry, episode 5, season 8, episode 5, excuse me. It's late. It's almost 10 o'clock here, and I gotta get up and go to work in the morning. Season 8, episode 5 of Game of Thrones. Anyway, I'm Sheldon. That was my thought. Thank you for listening. Live and laugh.